Hi everybody, thanks for watching this. I wanted to tell you this is a little time sensitive.
Greetings, dear ones. I'm Kryon of Magnetic Service. This morning we ask you to feel the wind of truth. It's a metaphor. When you feel the wind blows, often in a gentle way that's refreshing. And that's the way the truth is of this shift. You're looking at new energies that you have never had before presented to you in different ways. Years ago, we spoke of the recalibration energy. You have passed through that. And now comes the work. So many of you have asked this very day, what's next? What should I do? What's possible? Because this is new, dear ones, the manual for what's next hasn't been written. But there are things we can ask you to do that are so able to be done. And it has to be done by old souls. Now, this is an overview. It's a generality that I'm giving you. It's not a specific. So let's talk about the specifics first, which is backwards. You ask you what you're going to do next. What are you supposed to do? What is that which is in the plan for you? And almost all of you, we say to you, you're unique. So it may be different for each of you, but there is one thing that we're going to start asking for, and you're going to hear it more and more. Old soul, in this new energy, things are going to come to you. Watch for the synchronicity. Don't pass it up. When you hear ideas, when you meet people, when somebody says, let's go over here and do something and you've never done it before, that is synchronicity. And the second thing we would say to you is that in the synchronicity that you will meet, see it for what it is, because that's what you should do. What brought you here to this room? For those of you sitting here, what's the synchronicity? Not all of you said, oh yes, I'm going to go to this meeting, let's buy a ticket now. In fact, there's a lot of you. But that did not happen at all. And here you sit to hear these messages. Messages of hope and truth. Can you feel the wind blowing? Things are changing, dear ones. And the second large thing we'd ask you individually is to be patient. Human beings, when they start feeling the energies and realize the aha of truth, are so excited. And they want to act now. It's almost like you're going to run out of time, and you're not. Be patient. Let the things develop as they come to you. You'll know what to do with them. We told you over and over, it's time to start practicing mastery, to treat others differently. All of these things. That's what you're here for. We've said before, those of you who are sitting around expecting a plan, what am I supposed to do? And we've said before, what if you're already doing it? What if your very existence anchors energy for those around you? What if you're playing a part you don't even know you're playing simply by being you around others who are watching you? What if that's why you're here? Do you realize the importance of that? Of who you're touching and who you're changing. So it's not like you think. It's not a linear, what am I to do? And yet, I'm going to ask you for something now. All of you. All of those listening to my voice, all of those in the room, there really is something you can do. My partner touched on an energy. You might call it a scenario that is going on right now on this planet. The very thing I'm going to discuss is something that is holding you back from the evolution that we speak of, from the wild cards that are coming, for the inventions we told you you need. The things that are being developed and are ready right now are being held up by what I'm going to tell you. It's very real what my partner was telling you, that most of this planet is still in an expectation of doom mode. Most. Wherever you go, there is this feeling of what you have called waiting for the other shoe to drop. You're overdue for doom. You're overdue for the world war that was given to you as prediction after prediction after prediction. It is so odd. Everything around you says it's changed. Everything. If you will take a look at the wars that you've had, the last World War and the one before, take a look at who the players were. Now take a look at what they're doing. They've dropped their borders. They're trading with one another. The scenario for the next war is not there, and yet you expect it. You take a look at all that is around you. It is not then yelling at you, you're going to have a war. There's so much more that's giving you the evidence. That's not what's going to happen at all. Then why is it that you feel like it's coming? Now, those listening to my voice, old souls. Those in the room, old souls. You are awakening to a grander truth for the planet. A truth that doesn't just belong to a niche amount of believers. It's for the whole planet. Therefore, I'm telling you something that involves the whole planet. But the old souls are the graduates. You have most of the experience. You have profound consciousness that can change energy. The world is expecting doom. The books that have been written about the fractals tell you about the ripples of time that repeat themselves. That yell to you that there's going to be problems, there's going to be war. That yell to you your economy is going to collapse at any moment. There are seeds of truth in the ripples. Let me tell you something perhaps you have figured out or not. The ripples of an old energy are dangerous to you. Dangerous. Because if enough human beings buy into the old energy, it's going to slow things down, and some of them will occur. So now you know what I'm going to ask you to do. I want you to start spreading the word to everybody that you know, who would ask you, who would mention it, in idle passing or not. Shape your words for a good future. Don't buy into this. Don't be persuaded that something awful has to occur. Dear ones, the prophecies have come and gone. You are in the clear. But the ripples are still there of the old energy. When you hear those speak of it, you can tell them this. Well, it didn't happen. We've got a good future ahead. They'll start giving you chapter and verse of the old energy. They'll tell you what has happened and therefore, and therefore. They'll pull the politics of the day into it. They'll say, and therefore, and therefore. And you don't have to convince them. All you have to do is show them you don't agree. In a loving way, you can say, yeah, I don't think so. I feel something good is coming. Old souls carry weight. You carry it with your family, with your children, with your friends, with your colleagues. And the weight you carry is because of who you are and who they see in you. Are you a person who was slow to anger, who was quick to love? Are you a person who is not showing their age as much? Are you a person who has more energy than you should for your age? Are you a person that they will look at and they will say, I don't know what you've got, but I like it? They're going to listen to you, old soul. Anyone who listens to my voice, I'm going to call it a name. I want you to rewrite the past. The old ripples of time that say that you are overdue for something was written in an old energy. You are rewriting that energy. You have seen the prophecies of an older time drop away. The Mayan calendar told you that old history and time was over. The new calendar that has been put up by the Maya says that history is going to go into a place nobody expected. That a new long count is here. And that human consciousness can go into an evolved state higher than it's ever been. Where is that realization? And I'll tell you, it's only with the wise ones. And that's you. You come to a meeting like this, you get excited because you hear the facts. You see the physics. You hear the predictions. And you walk out the door and you know, absolutely know, that things are different and the shift is here and there's a chance that humanity will pull out of this faster than you know. That's the first thing I'm going to ask you to do. But the second thing, well, it may be backwards, dear ones. I do that a lot. Even the logic is in a circle. One thing leads to another. One thing builds on another. There are those listening to my voice that still don't believe it. How are you going to live in a way that's going to tell others to expect good things are coming? How are you going to rewrite this past if you haven't really cognized it, if you don't believe it? You would say, well, Kryon, this should have been the first thing. No, I wanted to give you the most profound thing first. You're going to have to change the past. You're going to have to avoid the ripple. And that can only be done by high consciousness groups of individuals who are spreading the word in their own way of a bright future for this planet of better consciousness. You're going to have to cognize it. You're going to have to believe it for yourself. You're going to have to know it's different. It's got to be your truth. So strong does it have to be that it competes with your belief system of whether gravity is real or not. Whether when you drop something it'll fall on the floor or not. That's how cognizing works. It has to be part of your cellular structure. That's why I'm here. I'm here to carry humanity into a brighter future and to void out those ripples, those old energy things that we have felt coming and are still here. The earth is still expecting to terminate. Kryon, what do we do about that? Well, if you just wait, it'll go away. But that's not what you want, is it? Generation after generation will eventually clear the ripples. You're already starting to see it with the indigos. They're not buying into an old energy system. One of those things they're not buying into is the ripples. Are you going to wait for another generation and another and perhaps another before you can move forward? Or are you going to start getting active? Kryon, I don't really understand. What am I supposed to do? And just shout it from the rooftop? I'll tell you what you're supposed to do. You watch. Because suddenly in your life you will have synchronicity to open your mouth. It'll come from various sources, and you'll remember this moment. And you'll smile because you'll say, here it is. Somebody will say to you, do you believe this election? Do you believe what's going on here? Do you believe how bad all of this energy is? What do you say normally? Yeah, it's bad. I see it. Or do you say, I recognize it, and you know what? The next one is going to be different. Things are changing. It's going to get better. You just wait. You say that, dear one. How many people will take that and repeat it? Do you see what you've done? At every single time, you get the synchronicity to state a bright future. How many times have people complained to you or saw that you were a listener, and you are, and they come to you and they say, things are not going well. What do you say? What should come out of your mouth immediately? That's today. Just wait for tomorrow. And if you do this, and if you will believe this, and if you will then find the God inside, perhaps you'll find the joy and understand that humanity is headed for a bright future. And it can go faster if you do that. But you got to believe it. You got to believe it before it can be passed on. This is the first time I have broached this. That now your job gets harder. You've called yourself a light worker. Turn on the light. You're going to find moment after moment after moment presented to you, you didn't even recognize what you were saying or doing. Where you can turn it around in a benevolent way and not argumentative. And you can say, yes, I've seen the election. Isn't it interesting? It's going to be something different next time. And then after that, even next time. You can say, isn't it interesting to watch and see the old energy we never saw before? And now we can start cleaning it up. People will walk away saying, either that's a wise, old, cheerful person, even if you're young, or they'll say, that's a Pollyanna. And they'll walk away and do whatever they wish. It doesn't matter what they do with it, dear ones, what you do with it. Can you turn things around so that you are a positive speaker? A positive speaker. Number 3, the final. We use 3 because this is the catalyst. This is going to be the catalyst. If enough old souls are doing this regularly, it's going to be obvious to many. What's going on with them? They're not echoing anymore the drama that's here. They're not agreeing anymore that the old energy is here. Instead, all they're seeing is light. The third thing. How do I tell you this? You've heard it before. This won't be work if you fall in love with yourself. This won't be work if you fall in love with yourself. If you're with a cheerful person, it's contagious, isn't it? If you're with a person who has joy and laughter, it's contagious, isn't it? Who are you? Now, you're going to see I just went backwards on everything. Should have been the first thing I said. Fall in love with yourself, cognize it's real, and spread the word. I did it backwards. I want you to think about the circle of time you're in and the fact that that's why it is the way it is. The circle of time has created the belief that people have that doom is coming. The new energy that was predicted all over the planet is here, and yet the old energy circle still exists in the psyche of those who have experienced it all their life. Enter the old soul. with joy, with love, with a countenance that is a smiling countenance, not a depressed one. Are you listening? Some of you need to hear this. You're so concerned with the earth and what's happening that you walk around depressed. May I just tell you, your depression is not helping anyone, even you. You can be as concerned as you want to. You can frown all day long, and you haven't helped a soul. Are you listening? God is joyful, and the things that you worry about will be faster settled if you'll spread the word of joy. That's all we're asking. Change your countenance. Watch for the synchronicities. And at every single point, if you can, give a positive outcome, not an agreed-on negative one. Oh, it's easy to listen to somebody complain and say, yeah, that's the way it is. And then you move on. How many times do you do that? You might think, well, it's none of my business. I don't want to start an argument. You're not, dear ones. When you state the obvious, my truth is that we're climbing out of this. It may not look like it. Don't watch the news anymore. You can tell them. Because all you're going to see is ugly stuff, and it's going to lay on you and hurt your heart. Turn it off and create the reality this earth needs. It's getting better, not worse. There are those who will turn away and not believe you. And then there are those who will start understanding what you're saying. They may even come and listen to the facts that were presented even this day that you won't necessarily see on your news. That this planet is going through a recalibration and starting to correct things that need correcting. And slowly the integrity of humanity is one that no longer wants war. I want you to analyze how many countries are there on the planet and how many are actually fighting with everybody else. It's a fraction of what it was 50 years ago. Fraction. There's really only about 3 or 4 holdouts today that have dictators who would willingly invade another country. That's old energy. Dear ones, that is not what's going to happen. Take a look at the reaction of the countries to this. Take a look at what humanity in general is after and trying to do. Putting things together and not tearing them apart. Not circling the wagons and competing for resources anymore. Trying to put it together and make it work. You've been doing this now long enough now that you can see it's not the way it used to be. Tell your friends. This is what the old souls is about today. It's not going to be that hard when you believe it. You walk around with a smile and joyful. People ask, what have you got? What are you doing? Why are you smiling so much? And you can say, because things are getting better. They're getting better in my life because I've discovered there's a shift going on. This isn't going to void out somebody's belief system or religion for you to say the future is going to get better. The prophecies of the old, they didn't happen. They're not coming. They didn't happen. All the timelines that were given to you, including the end of time with the Mayans, is not what took place. Instead, things are starting to improve. That's the message. You'll see, because the synchronicity will be given to you to comment more than you think. And then my advice is that comment in love, in joy, not in opposition. There's a difference. You can hold them to your bosom as friends, as mates, And at the same time, you can give them beautiful information without making them wrong. Because you're giving it in joy, with a smile. I believe things are going to improve. That's the predictions of the ancients. We've passed a corner. It's a tough time right now. You're seeing a lot of opposition to light. And I am the light. What a joyful, loving answer. Not an opposing proposition. Not an opinion that's different. It's just a statement of power. Old soul, you know how to do this. You've been there, you've done that. You know human nature. Fall in love with yourself. Start to change your countenance of joy. Cognize the truth that things are happening differently. And then cancel this ripple of doom. If you can cancel the ripple or even make a dent in it, I will tell you the speed of what is going to take place will quicken. The fewer people who expect the end will create a far faster evolution of consciousness on this planet. But those ripples of doom that are not going to happen, that people still sense, have got to go away or be erased or at least diminished before some of the things that I know are coming will arrive. You have a bright future. Wait till you see the next wild card. It's not coming until the planet is clear of expecting the end. There are some movies being developed that may surprise you. Because the Indigos are young enough now to be writing the scripts. There will be some of hope. There will be some that are rewriting the past and reminding those in the story of the things that did not happen. There'll be those who are brave enough to paint the future as something they didn't expect. It would be good. Watch for this. It's just now beginning to happen. Watch for literature that changes with writers who are now writing about a kinder, softer future. What is at hand that might work? Watch for exciting stories, even science fiction, about a bright future. Watch for stories about meeting benevolent aliens that might actually help the planet. And the drama that would ensue around it, and those who might not believe them. It's all part of avoiding the ripples of doom. And it can advance your evolution by generations. Do you accept the task? This is the old soul. I'm hearing it all over the planet. It's not going to be that hard if you see the truth and the light that is there. I am Kryon, in love with humanity for obvious reasons. I'll say it again. I have seen this before. You have seen this before. It's in your Akash on another planet. It's starting to reoccur. It's starting to come back to you. You are starting to feel better about it. At the same time, you understand God is inside you. You have help. You're not doing this alone, and you'll see it. You'll see it. That's enough for now.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching this. I wanted to tell you this is a little time sensitive.
Greetings, dear ones. I'm Kryon of Magnetic Service. And once again, my partner steps aside. We described it before, a process that honors the human being. A process which requires that the human being remain where he is
and shares the experience so he will feel it and know it. But he removes himself from the three-dimensional portal of the pineal. For in the moments that this takes place, it is not a gland. It is a meta-dimensional, multi-dimensional, beyond-dimensional portal. And it allows that which is the creative source inside you to expand. It is channeling. It is available. Always has been. In this new energy, however, it is available for the new information, the new thought, in new processes which are coming your way. Before we begin the message, and anything that is going to be taught in any combination, I just want to take a moment. What is your perception of what's going on here? Is it possible that there is an intelligent source in your universe, in your galaxy, that has helped put together what you see here? Is it possible that there is a plan that is benevolent to the human being because the human being is part of that creative source? Is it possible that you're never alone? And we've said those words for many years. Is it possible that the family is a little different than you think? Maybe it's even larger than you think. Is it possible that the message I'm about to give you is accurate, true, and real from a source that we claim to be not from this body of this human being? It took him a long time to understand that there was no trick here. It took him a long time because the box he came out of said there would be. That the box said there are consequences for what you're doing. That God doesn't talk to humans this way. That it could be a trick. And that the darkness of the planet wishes to invade your soul. And he learned quickly that every single time he opened this gland and the pineal became the portal for the higher self, he got the love of God. That's all he got. And it's pure. The purest thing he has ever experienced. It is always the same. It has never tainted itself. It has never biased itself. It has never told a human to do something out of integrity. It is always congratulatory. More than benevolent. It's family. Never changing. 23 years. That's the way it should be, dear ones. And if you need some kind of proof that this is real, maybe, just maybe, you would open that part of your heart that you have the ability to open and say, I would like to feel something. I would like perhaps some validation within my cells that this is correct. And you would begin then to feel the chills that you can only get when you know the truth is being revealed. And the truth is, I know you. I know your lives. I know what you're going through. Oh, soul, you are known to me. We have done so much together. You have not seen my face or my name. I'm with you all the time. And when I say I mean the entourage, which is in that, which you would count them to be trillions, knowing who you are, standing with you in the hardest times you have, through the tears, through the sorrow, and celebrating in those moments where you choose to toast victory. And sometimes the victory is health, and sometimes the victory is solutions over problems you had for a lifetime. We know you are. You're never alone. There is a system that my partner has taught about for years. It's a system we have mentioned in countless channels. But we've never really dedicated a channel to this system in the way we're doing today. That includes the new energy of today, because this is a system most of you don't even know how to use. Some of you use it all the time. You just don't know what you're doing. It's not intuitive. It's going to be the truth about synchronicity, and we'll subtitle it The Demise of the Bell-Shaped Curve. When something happens to you that is good, your friends around you will say, "What a lucky person you are. What are the chances that this would have happened to you?" When you go into a difficult situation, and perhaps it's even something that is common to humanity and in your culture, like surgery, and you will come out with such marvelous results, and they'll say, "Well, this is beyond our expectations, and what lucky person you are." And then you do it over and over. Or you go someplace and you meet just the right person who knows somebody else who just has the right information, and you end up with exactly what you wanted. What are the chances, they'll say, of this taking place? What a lucky person you are. Because humans do not see the structure of synchronicity. They see a structure of planning, forward-looking. And that is the only way you can achieve things. And in that puzzle, they even will mention positive thought. But that still is planning in a linear fashion so that you will arrive at a goal. And no matter what kind of process you have studied that will get you from A to B, there's got to be a goal. And in some of those, you will take the goal and you will paste it upon the refrigerator so you'll see it every day. And this is a linear human being. What if I told you there is a process that is not linear, that has no goal at all? Not one in linearity, but one in conceptualism. A conceptual goal that says, "Dear God, put me in the right place. I don't know where it is. Dear God, when you do it, make it comfortable for me. Let me see the sense of it. Make it easy. And bring me the right situations to take me there." How about that? And if you told that to someone off the street, they would say, "You must be New Age. For it is not logical. For you sit in a place where you're expecting God to do everything." No, you're not. And that is the subject of today. No, you're not. You are simply changing the box of belief to include something that is not in 3D, but that some of you have been using for a very long time. You're just not aware of it. So today's lecture, that's what we're calling it. My partner liked that. Is about the power of synchronicity, the truth about it. What it is, where it comes from, who's involved in it, and what you can do to promote it. The human being creates it in their belief, and that is how it starts. Now, this comes from my partner who loves to talk about the parking angel. Because this is the example he uses, so we'll do the same thing. Many light workers love to use that which they conceive as a special angel which has powers with cars. And that special angel will sit above the car, raise himself up, and see in a giant parking lot who is pulling out and where it's taking place. And you will assign your power to the parking angel, and you will find where somebody is pulling out, and it works. Now, this is not forward planning, is it?
It is a different concept. It's a concept that you could place yourself, or an angel which becomes your eyes, far above the parking lot to see the parameters of the entire lot and what is going on with everyone at the same time. And if that were possible, then you, in 3D, could direct your automobile to the right aisle and the right place to find that space at the right time, especially if you're in a line with others, to arrive when somebody is pulling out. And it works. Over and over it works. It works because this is the definition of synchronicity. Not planning ahead, but a concept that you assign and believe in that requires an overview of a situation that you cannot have in 3D. Synchronicity. Now, I cannot close this parking angel attribute without giving you the rest of the story that my partner demands I give you. There is no such thing as the parking angel. It's you assigning your power to a mythological creature with a P on its chest. And humans are very good at this. They don't believe they can do it, but they believe angelic powers can do it. Therefore, they assign their power away. It's you doing it, dear one. It's you doing it. You just don't believe it. So here we are with the example. It's the same one we've given over and over, my partner has given, that I've encouraged him to give because it is the one that so many of you understand. Now let us put that in a larger capacity. The scale of life and living. Here you find yourself in a situation where you wish to move forward into an area you don't know about. All you want to do is park. And when you park, that is a metaphor for putting the vehicle of the human being in a place that is appropriate for your life, wherever that would be. It gets you there so you can move on with what you came for. That is the metaphor. Humans have an idea where that would be. It's normal for you to build goals. I want to write a book. I want to create a healing center. I have this. I want to have that. It is absolutely normal. The first question I have to ask you is, are you okay if it is not what you think? Is it okay if it's better? Is it okay if it matches the Eckhart you came for? And the talents you have that perhaps you're not even aware of? Here's how it works. This is the how in 3D. You come to a meeting like this and you meet somebody for the first time. You didn't come with them. You meet them in a place in the back or in the bathroom. And you get to talking and you find out you have common interests. And then anything can happen. They have information you need. Or you have something they need. And you leave with a connection you didn't expect. And the connection leads to something else. For they know people that you don't know. Vice versa. You would call them, meet with them, if you wish. And here comes something that you didn't expect. You find yourself working in an area you didn't expect to work in, that fulfills a lot of the things that you wanted. Sometimes you come with no expectations at all, and you meet a partner of life. This happens over and over because you decided to come to where family is. Over and over, human beings have resigned themselves to being alone because nobody believes what they do. And they'll come to a meeting of like minds and find somebody that does. Life's changes, romance, synchronicity. They didn't plan it. You see the difference? The human who steps out of the door on a way to this meeting, what do? I'm getting ahead of myself. What do? It's going to be a good meeting. Let's give it energy. Let's show up. Let's have a good time. Let's leave. Or, dear Spirit, if I'm supposed to meet somebody, then let me have the wherewithal to at least look for it. Do you see the difference here? One is planning. One is expecting concepts that you cannot define. Concepts you cannot define, which would guide your life into a place you didn't expect. I am sitting in a room with old souls, and at least a quarter of you know exactly what I'm talking about. You're here because of it. Somebody showed you something that turned you around. It made you look, didn't it? It didn't give you a doctrine, did it? It made you look. Can you put a price on that? It made you look into a place that said, am I divinely built? Could my biology have something bigger in it? Something called innate, which is intelligent and knows who I am and works with me when I ask it to. A consciousness within a consciousness. It would hook me up with synchronicity. Way beyond average. Way beyond the bell-shaped curve. So I just gave you the scenario that can happen over and over in meetings like this, in small gatherings, in large gatherings. I'll get to what was required in a minute. Now let us talk about how it works. And these are things that we have discussed seldom, and never in a package like this. And we've got to talk first about the majesty of the human being. It wasn't that long ago we gave you a channeling called the 9 energies of the human being. It's what I want my partner to begin teaching. It's esoteric, it's complex, it's time. And there are conceptual parts of the attributes that must be taught that go beyond what a human being is used to hearing, even in these meetings. And here is one of them. If it's true, dear one, that you are a part of the creative source, do you then logically understand that your soul, if you wish to call it that, is enormous and only a piece of it is inside your biology? If all of it were there, you'd vanish. You'd turn into light itself, more than the power of the masters of humans. You'd have that which Elijah and Elisha saw together and experienced. Vaporization of cellular structure because the power of God cannot live in a human being at full strength. Do you understand? And if you understand this, you will understand that you are only having a piece of what is you, that is the Creator, in your body. And so here is what begs another question. Where is the rest of it? It's with me. It's on the other side of the veil as part of the creative source. It never left. Now here is what is difficult in your box. You carry around a corporeal identity which is singular. We have said this before, and you're really not. You are part of a group which is God. A piece of you separates out and becomes corporeal. That's one body with one face and one, what you would call, life. This is how you see things. Now let me tell you, the truth is you are a multidimensional being, and part of you is on the other side of the veil, which you call God. Get used to it. It is not separated out. There's not a soul somewhere with your face on it on the other side of the veil, tapping its toe, waiting for the rest of it to come home. There are humans who believe this because all they can do is project their linearity onto the majesty of God. We've talked about that. So get used to the fact that there is a quantum God and a linear human being, and you cannot put them together easily. You're part of the soup, which is God. And that part looks down upon you and is always available. always available. Just like the parking angel. It sees everything. Imagine a piece of you. Let's put it in your 3D. It's a spy in the sky. It looks at everything all the time. It knows who you are, everything about you, because it's part of you. It broadcasts information to you which you receive through intuitive thought. Are you here? Are you understanding? It gets you to get up and go places if you're listening. And here is what you need to know. Every single human being on the planet has it. Because every single human being is a part of the whole. You understand that? What happens, however, if there's a broadcast and 90% of the people don't have a radio? They don't get it. The broadcast is still there with their name on it. They don't have a radio because they don't believe it. Then here comes you. Some of you got your radio a long time ago, and some of you are just getting it now. You're believing it exists. The radio is the pineal gland that opens up into a multidimensional portal and tunes right in to that which is you. And that is hard for a human being to understand. And it guides you left and right. It knows who you are. It's benevolent. It's part of God. It's part of me. It's hard to explain. It's why it feels so good, dear ones. You ever wonder why it felt so good? It's you. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. If you're part of the creative source and you are quantum and multidimensional, it means that God has your face on it. And will never lead you into a place for other reasons other than benevolent and beautiful. And that's the system. Now let's come back to where were you when you decided to come to this meeting and what was it about? Some of you are sitting here today and you didn't know about the meeting until the last minute. I want to tell you, you're tuned in. Your radio's working. Because the intuitiveness spoke to you enough for you to look someplace, do something, go somewhere, and find out this was happening. Now I'm going to ask a magic question. Don't feel too bad, but who haven't you met in the room? And that is a big one. You can't meet everyone, can you? Now, we're getting into the process of synchronicity. And the process is guided through intuitive thought, through what you call the innate intelligence of the body to be in the right place at the right time and talk to the right people. And you can't plan ahead for that, can you? You have got to be tuned to it. Some of you have. You've discovered things today here that will make a change in your life. You met others. It's what it's about. So when the human being says to you, you must be New Age, you just believe these things are going to happen. No, you don't believe that at all. You're going to work for it. You're going to fine-tune intuitive thought, listen to it as much as you can that puts you in the right place at the right time. Dispelling the notion that a New Age person just sits at home doing nothing, waiting for God to speak to them. That is not the way it works. You stand up and you move around. You may go places that don't have anything for you at all. You just had to learn to use the intuition. Was it right? Was it not right? What does it feel like when it's right? What does it feel like when it's not right? Put that together. Pretty soon, like any other muscle in the body, it starts to work better for you. Innate works with you to fine-tune it. Then you can look around the room and say, yes, no, 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 yes, yes, yes. And know who you're supposed to talk to, perhaps who you're supposed to meet. Understand the family is one. But there are those within the family that have got something for you. They'll vibrate different because they do. You'll see it in their eyes. That is intuition at its best. But wait till you see it returned. When you look at somebody and they look back, and you can say, hello, old friend, it's good to see you. And you might hug for a moment or shake hands, depending upon the culture, and know that you've just met a best friend again. And they may have something, may not. It just may be for a moment so you could intermingle in a quantum way and acknowledge the fact that you are old souls. And that's good enough. The hardest thing for humans is what I'm going to say next. The process is different than you think. We have established first, it's not linear. That it is a conceptual attribute that you cannot plan on, and the timing is not known, and you cannot post a goal on your refrigerator. So it requires the human being in faith with no clock. That's number one. We've established that the information comes from that which is a lot of you on the other side of the veil, because you cannot hold all the mastery that you have in the corporeal body. And you are part of the creative source and always will be. Part of you is on my side of the veil. It's the part that talks to you intuitively, that says, go left, go right, stand up, sit down, go over there and meet that person. Now the next one, it's hard. How do we describe it? Got 7 billion souls on the planet. And they all have the same attribute as you do. All of them. And they're all on the other side of the veil as well as being here. All of them. And they're all talking at the same time and broadcasting things. But they broadcast them, these things they're broadcasting with the mind of God, because they're on my side of the veil. Are you understanding this? So if they have a corporeal self which is completely and totally unaware and has no radio, it doesn't make any difference. They're still broadcasting what's going on from the eye in the sky. And that means you can listen to them as well. They're tuned to your frequency. They'll tell you where not to go. They'll tell you things that intuitively will help guide you and help you. Now that you don't understand. Again, in singularity, you're hooked up to one soul, you, right? On my side of the veil, right? No. You're hooked to all of them. And they're all benevolent at the same time. And so therefore, even the soul parts and pieces of complete non-believers are still broadcasting information that will help humanity and you and the ones who are not listening. And you're getting guidance from all. A hard concept. So it's not just for you to be here and there. It's also for you to stay away from here or know what's developing over there. Intuition starts to grow and you become really, really lucky to other human beings. Wow, people say, look at that tragedy they escaped. Why did you leave the building before it fell down? And they will say, I don't know. Something said to go. And they did. And it happens over and over and over and over. Is it possible that the human soul is connected in such a way that it talks to everybody at the same time, and the ones with the radios are picking it up? And they are old souls. What are you supposed to do with this information? Well, we've already covered a little of it. Understand the process and believe it. That's first. Do not get disappointed that the planning is not working. You can't have both, dear ones. You can't have plans in the corner just in case the synchronicity doesn't show. Because you'll void the synchronicity if you do it. Do you see that? Second one. Understand that synchronicity may take you to a place you didn't plan on. Is it okay? And the old soul will sit in the chair, will say, yes, it's okay, anything. Really? Really? Because humans like it their way. You get pushed and pulled to uncomfortable situations and places. Can you honor where you are and say, it is well with me. This is where I know I'm supposed to be here because this is where synchronicity placed me. And you can feel the love of God surge through your brain and your heart And all the cells of your body, when you say that, thank you, God, you say, for putting me in the right place at the right time. Let me tell you something. Your goal will never be accomplished. Is that okay? You'll always be in motion. Always. There'll always be the ladder to climb in knowledge, in awareness, in energy. New things coming your way, always. To the moment where you take your last breath, you will never have arrived. And you don't like that either, do you? You want to come to a place and say, I made it. This is where I belong, and I don't have to work much anymore. Old souls always are working. You have to just throw that away. And it's got to be good enough. Because that's why you're here. Synchronicity can put you in places that are beautiful. It can save your life. It will save your life. It voids all the karmic attributes that have pushed and pulled you forever. It changes the way people think about you because you change. It changes the way you think about others because you're put into places to see who you are. It rearranges that which you believe because you start to have reinforcement of action that is working. And you can stand tall and tell somebody you have no idea where you're going and you're proud of it. And you're healthier than they are. And you're happier than they are. And you love people they won't. You see what I'm saying? This is a change. It's a change in everything that the human being has been taught in 3D. And it's not let go and let God. It is a partnership that's a new arrangement that's conceptual and demands work on your part. Demands it. You've got to change how your brain works. And move into this place where before you leave someplace, you're going to look at it differently than you looked at this one. And you're going to say, if, then, that, I will. Help me with it. Expect synchronicity. And if it doesn't come, it wasn't supposed to. Humans are funny. Look at the phrases that everyone in your culture uses. Well, I guess it was supposed to happen. They have no idea. Or the universe had a message for me. They have no idea. That's exactly right. Exactly right. But I've just given you the mechanics of it. It's beautiful. It's for you. Information is being broadcast all the time. Even from the non-believing souls, because they're on my side of the veil and they know this is for you as well. It helps you go from A to B. More than that, it helps you to run into processes and principles and people that have things that are going to marry to your Akash. This is what's new. There's going to be a beginning of a marriage, not just to help humans navigate humanity, but to navigate that which is coming. Setups for the next time around. Now, what did we tell you? The last time we spoke. Akashic inheritance. What you learn this time carries into the next. So the setups you have this time will carry into the next. You'll remember them, and you'll keep going. Today's synchronicity is tomorrow's future. It is that important that you start to learn how to use it and to carry it, how to expect it, how to believe in it, and change the way things work for you. It's part of this new teaching that we're saying. It goes beyond the bell-shaped curve, which says that in this room there's averages and that there are those who are better and worse at certain kinds of things. No. You can control it. All you have to do is nudge it a little. And it's called synchronicity. And it's not sequestered to you, old soul. Any single human being who wishes to get the radio. And the radio is the acknowledgement of the higher self and the fact that God is inside, a willingness to listen in a way they never have before to a source which is loving and beautiful and will never change.